Hello everyone, I am Durga Saujanya from Department of ECE, MLR Institute of Technology. I am giving the video lectures for the subject Embedded System Design. Our today's video session topic was real-time kernel. This real-time kernel is divided into two sessions. This is the first part of real-time kernel. So this is in the unit 4, summary of previous session. In previous session we have discussed how can we define OS, what are different types of OS, and in types of OS, what is general purpose OS and what is real-time OS. So real-time general purpose operating system is nothing but the operating system which is used for generic systems, like for all applications for all devices. This real-time operating system is specifically used for some application oriented devices only, and it is the deterministic behavior. See, it does not have deterministic behavior. And this real-time operating system is time critical based operating system. And the general purpose operating system is non-time critical. It is not time critical oriented. And where we have the applications for non-time oriented applications, we can use the general purpose operating system. Where time critical responses are to be needed, we can use the real-time operating system. So in real-time operating system, so we already discussed about the kernel. Kernel is nothing but the core of the real-time operating system. In this kernel, what is real-time kernel and how can we define the task or process? How can we manage the task or process management? How can the scheduling and synchronization are happen for the tasks, and error and exception handling for real-time kernel. So these are the topics we have discussed in today's session. The first one is real-time kernel. So the kernel of real-time operating system is defined as real-time kernel. So what is meant by kernel? The core of the operating system. Here the core of the real-time operating system is defined as real-time kernel. It is highly specialized OS and it contains minimal set of services required for running the user application or tasks. So whatever the set of applications or services required for running that particular application, so those are to be specified in the real-time kernel. So the basic functions which are obtained by this real-time kernel are the process management or task management, scheduling, synchronization, error or exception handling, memory management, interrupt handling, time management. So these are the functions provided by the real-time kernel. So now in detail we can discuss about each service offered by this real-time kernel. The first one is task or process management. Task or process management means it is used for performing the operations which are used for defining a task and how much memory is required for the task and how can we allocate resources to the task. So like that. So the first operation is setting up the memory space for the task and loading the task code into the memory space. So that memory space which is allotted to that particular task by the OS. So in that memory space, the task code should be loaded into that particular memory space. It can be done by the task management service. And allocating system resources. Next, setting up a task control block for the task. So the task control block is very important thing which is used for the task. So it consists of so many things, that is all the information related to the task will be used in the TCB. Task or process termination or deletion. Here the task control block, so we can define this. The task control block is used for holding all the information corresponding to that a particular task. The parameters and implementation of TCB is kernel dependent. So that is, what are the parameters used for defining the TCB? So those are all defined by the kernel only. So those will be different for general purpose OS and real-time OS. Here for real-time kernel, the parameters which are used for define the task control block are, so this is the task control block. So here we can define the task ID. Task ID is nothing but the identification number of a particular task, and priority, whether we have used that task as a higher priority task or lower priority task, and the status. Status means here it can be used to indicate the state, in which state the task is on. So that means either it is in the ready state or wait state or block state or some other state. So there are different types of states are there in task. So we can discuss it in later session. So here this TCB is used for indicating in which state the task will be in, and the registers which are used for storing the data of the task, and the program counter, the status registers, and pointer to next TCB. Here the first one is task ID. This task ID is used for defining the identification number, and next one is state. It indicates the current state of the task, currently in which state the task is going on. And next, task type. So task type is nothing but it is the hard real-time task or soft real-time task. So there are two types of RTOS are there. One is soft real-time systems and another one is hard real-time system. So hard real-time system means it can strictly follows the deadline, and soft real-time systems means it cannot follow the deadline but it will complete the task completely. So here based on the type indicates which for which system this OS will be preferred, hard real-time system or soft real-time system, or it may be a background task. Task priority. So when one is assigned for task priority, here if 1 is there, it indicates that the task is having higher priority. If 0 is there, it indicates that it is having lower priority. Task context pointer. Here in the task context pointer, it indicates the pointer for context saving. And task memory pointers. Here we have so many registers are there. In these registers, we are using the pointers for memory and context saving and for other TCBs. So here it task memory pointer, it points to the code memory, data memory and stack memory for that particular task. That means that particular task can be related to data memory or code memory or stack memory, for which memory it is assigned. So that will be indicated in these pointers. And task pointers. The last one is pointer to the next TCB. So that is for other TCBs, what is the next TCB which is having in that OS. So that will be indicated in this pointer. So that is, this is only for the present task only or the current task only. So the TCB for next task is indicated in this pointer. This is about the task control block. Next, another service is task or process scheduling. Scheduling deals with sharing CPU among various tasks or processes. So how much time is to be required for one particular task and how much time will be allotted for one task, and for other task how much task will be allotted. So this all will be done by the scheduling process. It deals with sharing the CPU among various tasks. How much CPU time will be shared for different tasks. A kernel application called scheduler is used for handling the task scheduling. The scheduler is an algorithm which performs efficient and optimal scheduling of tasks to provide a deterministic behavior. So that means that particular task will be completed within the given specified time only. So that time will be defined by this scheduler. So this is the service which is offered by the real-time kernel. Task or process synchronization. Here deals with synchronizing the concurrent access of resource which is shared across multiple tasks and communication between various tasks. So here this synchronization service is used for providing communication between various tasks and synchronizing between current access of a resource. Here various tasks are there, task 1, task 2, task 3 and so on. So if the CPU resources are allotted for more than one task, so then we should need synchronization between these two tasks for using the resource of the CPU, and the cooperation between these two tasks will be needed for the CPU to use for maximum utilization of the resources of CPU, and which is shared across multiple tasks, and the communication between various tasks. So it will be used for this synchronization service will be used for providing the communication between various tasks and sharing of resource between various tasks. And next service is error or exception handling. So error or exception handling is nothing but during execution of any task, if any error occurred in that process, it will be handled by the error or exception handling service. insufficient memory or timeouts or deadlocks or deadline missing, a bus error divided by 0, unknown instruction execution. So these are all the examples for the exception handling. When any one of these types of errors are occurred in during the execution of a task, it will be indicated by the error or exception handling service. So it can be in two types. So error or exception handling service will be used in two types. One is at kernel level, one is at task level. If errors occurred at kernel level like deadlock, so it is called as kernel level exception, where we will have the timeout. So it is in task level exception. Example for kernel level exception is deadlock. Example for task level exception is timeout. So the OS kernel gives the information about error in the form of system call. So here we know that the errors which are occurred during the execution of a task are indicated by error or exception handling. So how can the system knows about these errors? The OS uses APIs for indicating the errors occurred during execution of a task to the system or CPU. This is about error or exception handling service. The next, here in this session we have discussed what are the topics covered in the previous session and what is the real-time kernel and what are the different services offered by the real-time kernel. So in this session we have discussed only 3 services offered by the real-time kernel. The remaining services are discussed in the next video session. Thank you.